Welcome back to another edition of Dave Learns AI here. Dave Clapper with Tribble Reese.
How are we doing?
How we doing?
How are we doing without the glasses on?
How are we doing?
Because this is a new look for Dave, right?
Well, actually, there was an episode a couple of weeks ago I didn't have him on. And I was like, well, there's that handsome guy I remember. And yeah, when you get old, there's all these different appendages, things that you didn't have when you were young. Glasses, hairs growing out of your nose and your ears.
Hearing aids. My dad just got hearing aids.
Well, I mean, your dad's a tad bit older than I am, I would imagine.
He's 85.
But yeah, so yeah, no glasses today. I don't need to read anything, I don't think.
No?
Don't put anything in front of me, so I'll just kind of fake it until we make it. Happy to have you back and checking out the show. I know my kids aren't listening, so I'll continue to talk about them. I'm waiting for them to actually listen to one and go, dang, you totally threw me under the bus, Dad.
Yeah, we should start doing that in every episode.
Like
and then
hide it?
You'll find it like Easter eggs. We'll find out when they're actually listening to it.
Yes. I want to begin the show real quick thanking Pete and Marnie.
Yes.
Pete and Marnie are behind the camera. They do so much more than provide this space for us and record it and cut it up and post it on YouTube and really a part of the process of this podcast. This hugely popular, like really top 10,
we're gonna be there. We're working towards it. But what this space gives us, Dave, is a schedule and a cadence for any upcoming business that wants to tell their story. They have everything you need. It's a turnkey operation. So for us, it's been a great way for us to come on here and talk about things that are pertinent to our industry. And I think that any industry can come in here and use Pete and Marnie at Scutch Media to tell your story.
And they're not paying us to do this. This is really just, I mean, we really do appreciate them and the work they put into it and the kindness. They welcome us into the studio every week, happy to see us, and that makes us feel really good.
And the dogs.
And the dogs, always happy to see us.
Can't forget the dogs.
Especially happy to see Nick tap the dogs, of course. Who let the dogs out?
Woo, woo.
But we're talking about the podcast, and thanking Pete and Marnie because I think what we wanted to do is talk a little bit about how AI is utilized in the creation of this show.
Yeah, so we talk about every week about different AI, how we're utilizing them, where they can fit in business, the industry overall, things that people should worry about, jobs. We've talked about the full scope of it, but today I thought it'd be a good idea to talk about how we stack different AIs together to actually put out a product. Because people that are new to AI, they probably heard of ChatGPT. They probably have heard about a couple of the other things that we've talked about, but how do you actually input those to get a delivered product? And that's what I want to talk about today.
Well, and I'm going to reference my kids again. So when they hear me talking about AI, they just assume everything's fake because kind of in their head, it's AI generated, which means it's not real. And yes, AI helps you create, but there's always that human in the loop, at least at this particular point. So if we're trying to get them to help, trying to get AI to help us, we have to prompt it. So we are working in conjunction with. But like you right now are an AI clone. You're actually not here sitting next to me. Is that correct?
Yes.
No, he is really here. So that is not part of our process. This is actually two adult males having a conversation.
In the flesh.
No script. But one of the first things that we do to begin the process with AI is what?
All right, so we'll start with this production. We come in here and we film. We have our great people at Scutch that we just called out who do the back-end editing, and then they put it onto YouTube. That then serves as our audio and video. We also put it onto different other podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Then it's out there. Then what we do, because it's a big part of our marketing, is we put that YouTube link into something called Opus Clips. Now, Opus Clips takes long-form interviews. It takes movies. It's one of the most impressive AIs that I've worked with because it can take really long hours of footage if you want to, and it can find exactly what you want. But if you don't know what you want, it can actually take up our podcast, 38 minutes of us talking, and it can segment it out into viral worthy clips, which is what basically talking points that are worth talking about. That's the start.
So that's pretty interesting in itself because it's doing the editing and it's clipping. How often do you find in the process of the clips that it's spot on? It's pulling a clip that is, number one, compelling, number two, informative, number three, entertaining. I mean, that is AI that's choosing that clip, right?
I know, and think about the time save. You don't have to go through and watch. What it does is it saves time because not every single, out of a 30-minute, long form interview, it probably gives you 15 options of, you can pick whether it be 30 seconds or whether it be, a minute and a half. You can pick your time. You kind of want to stay in there, but they all make sense. They all make sense as separate clips. It's like it takes a starting point from us talking in 30 minutes. We talk about a lot. It takes a starting point and then it finishes it with like a statement, and not all the time. Like, out of all those 15 clips, probably 10 are usable. The other ones are just like, oh, that was good, but it's just not like worth posting about.
Well, that's interesting because there are some AI platforms, including Sora 2, which we have recently discussed on the show.
Yep.
You put some prompts in it for discussion, and Sora 2 doesn't care if it's trying to finish a thought or a sentence. It just cuts it off. Time's up. So you don't typically even get complete thoughts unless you're really, really specific about directing it in like within that 10 seconds. Like,
right.
You have to be super aware of what you're, putting in it in order to make sure that you're getting a full clip. Because a lot of times you don't get full clips.
No, and that's why it gives you like a window, like 60 to 90 seconds. That way it gives it a chance to finish the thought. But it does stuff like it cuts clips together sometimes. It'll cut out the space in between. It just does a lot. So that's where I start. That kind of gives me a bunch of clips to go back and watch.
I have a question.
Okay.
Because I've never used this this tool. Do you have to actually have the file to upload, or can you, for instance, I often, when I'm stripping our YouTube version of this into just an audio form, I use just the link from YouTube and it'll go and give me the audio. So that's just web-based.
You can do both.
Okay.
Local uploads takes a little bit longer because you actually have to upload the file for it to like read to actually the website. But the easiest way is to have it like web-based, like YouTube. Just post the link in there.
That's awesome. So, because I was thinking, you're like, yeah, you could take a whole movie. I'm like, could you? That would be a huge file. But you're like, no, if it's available on a link, if it is available on YouTube or something, you can just boom, put it right.
Think about this too. We don't utilize it like this in business, but like I used to play football back in the day. You could put a whole 3-hour college football game in there and say, hey, show me the plays where the quarterback completed the pass.
Really?
And it will be able to go in there. A full basketball game.
Well, if you did that with the Cleveland Browns, it wouldn't take very long because they don't ever complete passes.
I was about to say, if I was a good quarterback, it would be a really short film. But yeah, or a basketball game. Show me when Kobe Bryant scores in this game. And it can go through. It's like mind-blowing, the use cases that it has. But
and this is Opus Clips.
Opus Clips, opus.pro. Opus.pro is the website. Okay. All right, so now I have the clips and I've separated them all. What do I do next? I take it to this. What I've been using lately is an app called Captions because it does a really good job of inserting B-roll into what would normally be just a human talking behind the podcast. It inserts pictures, graphics, things that are pertinent to the conversation, and it captions it as well. So I take the Opus clip, I go through and I review which one that because this is a big part of our marketing because, like I said, if you're coming in here to film the podcast, not everybody's going to watch the long form, but you should.
Yes, my kids won't.
But the best way to give people a taste of what we're talking about is in those shortened clips, and the best way to make it engaging and make it watchable is by adding this kind of B-roll flavor kind of theme to it.
So I've noticed when we hear from people and they're like, yeah, I watch your show, or I listen to your podcast. Oftentimes what they're talking about are the little pieces that we're putting up on social. So because they are informative and educational, like that is relating to people in a way that they're going, hey, I know what you're talking about because I'm watching it and I feel like I'm getting something out of just short little pieces. And I'll tell you, it seems to be so much more like there's so much more punch in it. And I'll give you an example. You go into the podcast and we immediately start talking about, you know,
Fuck all.
yeah, just things that people are like, what are you talking about? So the good thing about what you're doing with Opus Clips is it's typically something that even if you're not fully ingrained in AI talk, you can go, all right, I understand what they're talking about.
Exactly, and that's the goal, is to kind of give them a taste of what we're talking about. But in this particular thing that we're talking about today, why you need to watch the long form and why you should tell your friends is because we're telling the full process from soups to nuts. We're not just focused on one tool. We're kind of giving the people something useful that they can use if they start to stack all these AIs together. Okay, so we've long form podcast, goes to YouTube. I take it, I put it into Opus Clips. It gives me 15 to 20 options of shortened viral content. I then take each individual clip and I put it into Captions. Captions does a great job. There's a bunch of themes that you can choose. After that, Captions is not perfect.
Okay.
So it will give me pictures sometimes that I'm like, they were close, but no.
Not the vibe I was going for right
Yeah,
there.
maybe I need a video. You can upload your own media to
Video and photos?
video and photos. So
Nice.
if you're talking about a purple dinosaur and I didn't like what their version of purple dinosaur was, I can go through and either search an image on Google, I can create it. So here's the next tool that I use. There's a tool called Higgsfield AI that does a great job. And we talked about Sora 2 last week and how we're utilizing that. Higgsfield is basically a content generating AI that pulls from all the different kinds of AI tools that are out there. It uses Kling AI, it uses their own Higgsfield, it uses Sora 2.
Has a bunch of image ones too, like Nano Banana, or is that right?
Correct, Nano Banana.
Nano Banana,
Yeah.
and like other video ones where you can actually take a still photo and say, hey, bring this to life. Or you can say, here's a drawing, bring this to life, or make it into whatever.
Hey, this person's in the desert, I want them in the ocean.
Yeah, Higgsfield has all those tools.
It does all those
It's
tools.
like a one-stop shop.
Correct. So then if I want to enhance the content, I'll go over there. By the way, I forgot to mention, there's you can either use ChatGPT, which is something everybody knows. You give prompts to the AI, and the best way to find the best prompt for that AI is by going to AI. So I go to ChatGPT and I say, hey, here's a long form podcast. Pull out these kind of clips. Here's what we talked about. Bam. When I go to Higgsfield, I need to know how to talk to it about what kind of prompt I need for that specific video that I just did. It prompts me. So then it spits out something. I'm like, all right, that's more in line with what I was thinking. I go back to the Captions app. I make it all nice. I probably have to do that 2 or 3 times per like minute of video to really make it to where I want it. And then
Can you add music in in Captions?
you can't add music in Captions.
So you take it. Do you go to another app if you want like a music bed or something under?
I do that, but I don't use. It's not really an AI thing. I do that kind of my own CapCut way of doing that. But there's plenty of music stuff that you can add with AI, and we've talked about that with actually creating music from the ground up.
Yeah.
With that, so
Okay, so now you go to Higgsfield, you get the prompts, you get all the B-roll ultimately that makes sense to the content of what we're discussing, and at that point, what?
I have a finished product at that point. I usually add our Taptico thing at the end, and then to make sure that I upload the transcript from Opus to ChatGPT and say, hey, what's an engaging caption for this for the actual Instagram or TikTok post? Wham bam, thank you, ma'am, and there it is.
So when we talk about using AI for efficiency, dude, makes things so efficient. But then there's also like, all right, if it's writing your captions as well, I know there's a human in the loop because you're actually taking this and putting it here. But do you feel like there's something missing in, like, for instance, the caption that comes up that's describing it, or do you feel like it's got a soul in a way enough to where if somebody's reading it, they feel compelled by the text that they're reading?
It's applying whatever we're talking about, and it's not thinking outside the box. It's giving you a good graphic or good B-roll that makes sense to whatever we're talking about. Like if I was like rainbow volcano with a fox dressed like a horse riding down it, it would do its best impression to make that, but it's not going to be like it's not really doing any interpreting. That's why if there's that's where the human in the loop comes in, because I'm like, hey, we were talking about that, but here's what would be real pertinent to that to make the humans be able to understand with it.
So one of the things that we recently kind of uncovered as we're doing this for clients is they're seeing the ease in some of these tools. They're not super hard to grasp or super hard to actually utilize. The question often becomes, do you, as a business owner, have the time? Because this is what you do, and this is what you do for Taptico. I mean, you are in charge of delivering content,
creative stuff,
yeah, so that way, you're getting our word, our message. You're letting people know that we are experts in this field. So, you can spend the time it takes to do something like that. But for, the average businessman, maybe it's a CMO, maybe it's a CEO, maybe it's just, somebody who's a manager going, man, I would love to do this, but I just don't have the brain space for it.
Yeah, it seems like you're drinking from the ocean a little bit, where you have like all this stuff thrown at you. That's why the purpose of this right now is to kind of break it up and say, hey, here's how we're using it. But I didn't figure this out overnight. Like this took a lot of trial and error. There's a lot of AI out there that's just not good, or it's not fully developed. And so you have to kind of push it to the side. And that's kind of the work that we've done in this space, as we can call ourselves experts by now, because we know the tools that are not just creating stuff for the sake of creating stuff. It's creating stuff that helps companies operate more efficiently, save time, save money, all that kind of stuff. We have stacks of AI tools that we use that work.
So not every AI tool out there is created equal. And there are so many to choose from that it can be overwhelming. And you're like, all right, I have this project. And then you go and use, and they're like, oh, it's free. Well, nothing's free. Like you go in there and they're like, okay, cool. You want to generate that? That's going to cost this. Like, so you are spending money to try things and go, oh, that's not what I was hoping to get. And now there are these services like Higgsfield. I think Envato is another one. NVIDIA is another one, where they actually take and put a bunch of platforms on one and do an overall umbrella on pricing. Would you recommend that, or do you think it's better to go straight to the dealer? It's almost like you're going to the middleman in a way.
Yeah.
Or do you find it's sometimes more efficient to go straight to the source?
I feel that the AI works best from the system that it was designed on. Yeah. Even though I use Higgsfield to get some content, it takes a lot longer for it to go in their queue, because it's all about bandwidth. I mean, they're building these huge data centers out there that they can't get enough energy to supply all these different AIs, which take a tremendous amount of energy. But somehow the system usually works better, and it's usually a little bit more accurate, and you're not wasting credits, and it's faster on the native AI application.
I do find, and I'm finding it more frequently now because I'm utilizing so many more tools because I'm learning AI.
Yeah, Dave is learning AI.
Dave learns AI. Whoop, whoop. And you can get into a little groove. And you're like, oh yeah, I'm doing this. And you're like, oh, you're done for the day. No more credits. Yeah. Like, whoa, what happened? And it's interesting because it's not obvious when you're on the page and you're doing your work. You're not looking at it going, oh man, I got plenty. And it happened to me today. I'm in the middle of a research project. I'm going back and forth, blah, blah, blah. Sorry, you're all done for the day. And I'm like, whoa, wait. And now you're like, well, I have no choice but to buy more.
Correct.
So now I feel like either a caffeine addict or a crack addict going, okay, that wasn't enough. I need another hit.
Well, you're an algorithm, and that's why tickets at the fair are tickets, because they don't want you to really associate with how much they're costing. They want you to get lost in the process of, hey, I have this amount of credits.
You
but how
totally
much?
lost me on this reference to the fair. Help me out here.
Well, when you go to the fair and
Yeah.
you is it?
Oh,
Yeah,
you buy
you buy
tickets.
tickets
Gotcha,
to then
gotcha.
play the game, and
Gotcha.
you know, you get 12 tickets for $35, and then you're like, well, it's one ticket to play the basketball game. How much is like?
Yeah, I
you don't
gotcha.
really associate with.
I gotcha.
Yeah, you with me?
Oh, my brain's fried from all the AI. I don't use it enough.
Dave learns analogies.
Dave learns analogies.
But yeah, so they also, another thing they do is AI is changing so fast, and it's always something new. There's the newest, latest, and greatest. They make you, and I've had to like refrain myself or stop myself from signing up, that yearly.
Yeah.
They want you to hit that yearly so bad. They make it so enticing. You save 50% by signing up for the year.
$369 for the year, unlimited.
Or pay $100 today. Yeah, exactly.
Or $100 a month. Yeah.
And they make you want to do that because they know that they like could be obsolete in the next 6 weeks.
Did I just see a statistic that ChatGPT has 800 million users a week?
You're right, almost 1 billion, faster than Facebook, the most users at this point in their life cycle than any other company.
Wow. And if everybody's got the basic, because there'll be some times where I'll talk to my son, I'm like, hey, use ChatGPT. He goes, I don't have Pro. Like he knows that I can't do that on my basic subscription, which is, I don't know, $19 and $9. I don't even know what the basic is.
$20.
Yeah, and I've got the Pro, which is, $35 or whatever. But I mean, you just think about that, I mean, Facebook, if it had 800 million subscribers, that's free. Facebook never had a fee to participate. Now, obviously, there are things that they have offset that cost. And I've also heard that at some point, ChatGPT were considering figuring out a way to put ads in it to make it more affordable.
That's coming, trust me. It's a public, I mean, we're talking about trillions of dollars. So there's people much smarter than you and me who are figuring out ways to suck as much juice out of this lemon as
That's
they
a little
can.
off track, though, so I apologize for that. But at the end of the day, so you got all your clips, Opus Clips, you're going into Captions, you got a finished product, you're having ChatGPT kind of help with the verbiage on your post, you're posting it. Are you using any AI tools on the back end to help to make sure that it's getting viewed, that it's getting seen, that it's getting shared? Is there anything that you're using at this point?
I haven't up to this point. I know that Meta has come up with new, like they're pushing their AI ads platform, and we're not doing any paid ads on ours at the moment, but I'm sure that there's some kind of A/B testing out there where they can tell you. I mean, yeah, we could. I haven't done this yet, but you could upload it to a ChatGPT and say, hey, what about this is viral? What about it's not? Like, how is the hook? Is there a good call to action? All that kind of stuff.
So,
if it was an ad.
I think at the end of the day, what we're pretty much saying is, we are taking real content and we are utilizing AI tools to become more efficient with the delivery messages and how we put it all together. And now we have a product that we can go out and feel comfortable about, and you're doing a great job. So that's what we can do for you too. We can do it with a podcast. We can do it with content creation. We can utilize these tools in a way to help make your business become more efficient, and that's why we're here.
Pitch decks, we're doing that. Like we talked about that. Anything content creation, anything creative that goes into marketing, we have pretty much a tool that helps make it more efficient, right?
And we're 3 tools.
Two tools, one stud.
I think we should change the name of the podcast.
2 tools, 1 stud.
2 tools, 1 stud.
Okay.
All right, man. Well, thanks for tuning in. Another edition or episode of Dave Learns AI. If you need some help, you can always hit us up on our website, taptico.co. You can DM us, smash the like button, share with your friends.
Engage.
Engage. Yeah, we appreciate it. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Oh, Dave learns AI.